Welcome to another edition of my Blueface and Krishan astrology saga. I am your host, your astrologer, Loveless. So, Blueface has an attempted murder charge looming over his head. He was apprehended by plainclothes officers in November due to a shooting that happened in a Las Vegas club in October. To summarize it, a club goer made fun of Blueface and he retaliated by shooting in the man's direction as the man drove off in their pickup. Another version is that Blueface felt threatened and thought the man went to his car to get a gun. Blueface appears to be on video shooting, according to footage obtained by TMZ. Let's look at the chart I created thinking about this incident. Once again, Blueface is Mercury. This is the third time he is represented by Mercury in my charts. I'm wondering the significance of this. This may be an emphasis that he is very youthful and immature. Blueface's planet, Mercury, is in the 5th house. This is very relevant as the 5th house is related to entertainment, performing, and clubs, so the chart shows the fateful incident occurring here. Mercury is joined to Venus. As you may know, Venus represents women. Krishan, his girlfriend, was there with him when he was arrested, so Venus must be showing Krishan. It could also be showing a club with women, a strip club, as that's where the shooting happened. Mercury is also joined to Pluto here. I see Pluto showing a violent incident, but a specific type of violence. Violence done as a power play to show who was the superior one. Was Blueface genuinely afraid of death? I do see something here. Death is represented in this chart by Mars retrograde in Gemini. With Mercury in Capricorn, there is a high focus on death here from Blueface, but whether he was afraid of death or acting as an enforcer of it, I'm not sure. Both situations being the case is entirely plausible and entirely possible. So let's look more at this Mars. Because Mercury isn't making an aspect to Mars, this shows to me how there was a threat of death, especially for the person he allegedly shot at. But the lack of aspect between these planets shows a certain death not occurring, fortunately for both parties. Could this lack of aspect show he had no true intention of killing someone? This Mars retrograde, a particularly damaging influence, is right at the 10th house cusp. This shows a violent act harming his reputation and his standing with the authorities. It can also speak of past acts of violence, and this is true. This isn't the first time Blueface has been arrested for a violent act. Mars retrograde in Gemini, the 10th house cusp, can also show someone who is known for criminal activity or criminal affiliations. So, to the main topic of this video, let's talk about whether it looks like he's going to jail or prison. The authorities are also represented by Mercury, and imprisonment is the Sun. Currently, Blueface is out on bail. This may be shown by Mercury in this chart, just being 1 degree away from the Sun's influence. He escapes imprisonment for now. However, Mercury is going retrograde, which could mean 2 things. 1, it could mean things move slowly concerning this case, and in the best possible outcome for him, it doesn't move forward at all, but I'm not confident in this outcome. As Mercury moves retrograde, it is moving back into the influence of the Sun, and eventually Mercury does join the Sun again in an aspect, a conjunction. This could show him going back to the confinement of imprisonment. With this happening in the sign of Capricorn, some part of this will be drawn out. Maybe the court case itself, his prison stay, or both. But in a way, in astrology, as a cardinal sign, this sign is also associated with things happening quickly. With this happening in the 5th house, there is damage here to his creative projects and his ongoing TV show on the Zeus network with Krishan. I would expect them to actively document this legal ordeal on the show. Then very importantly, we have the Sun, imprisonment, trying the ascendant here. This is a strong indication of going to jail or prison. And the timing here, it could be as soon as within the next 5 months, but we shall see. A retrograde planet complicates timing. But I'm not done telling this story. There is another player in this story, the owner of the strip club where this incident took place. He has established himself as a public enemy to Blueface, blaming him for the club being shut down shortly after by police, and wanting to see him punished to the full extent of the law. This person in this chart is represented by Jupiter. As this person is represented by Jupiter, I don't see that he is a naturally insidious person. Rather, this incident most likely provoked him. There are some on social media who don't believe Blueface is responsible for their loss of the club, but the stars disagree here. This man, Jupiter, and his money and assets are represented by Mars retrograde. With Mars retrograde in Gemini, a sign of Mercury, Blueface is responsible for damages to him. As Mercury is also the authorities, the authorities bear some responsibility as well. They were the ones who shut the club down in response to the shooting, according to the club owner. Now, Jupiter is the strongest planet in this chart. This says to me he has great influence on Blueface's situation here in the legal case, and obviously this wouldn't be a good thing for Blueface.
Las Vegas club owner says Blueface is 100% guilty following alleged shooting. The owner of Las Vegas's Euphoric nightclub blames Blueface for the club shutting down. The owner wants to see Blueface in jail. In a recent Instagram post, he said that he shut down his establishment due to the rapper's alleged October shooting. Blueface might have a long fight in court ahead of him, especially since the club owner spoke out. The owner of Euphoric Gentlemen's Club shared a lengthy Instagram post in response to his club shutting down. He claimed Blueface's gang-related activities forced him to close down his doors for good.
A long fight in court. It looks like it might be that way. As I mentioned, key planets are in Capricorn, showing a situation that could be drawn out. Direct astrology, in my opinion, says he goes back to jail. Mercury is going retrograde. Blueface is Mercury, so this is a very damaging indication. But what about tarot? Will Blueface go to jail? Yes or no? I asked the Hermetic tarot cards. The card Death appeared. Ooh, quite an insidious looking card, isn't it? This card relates to big changes, and I'm getting a negative vibe here. It's not a straightforward yes or no answer card. It is dependent on the situation. I'm inclined to see this as a yes, he goes to jail. A life-changing event is incoming. But one could also see this card as death of the situation, death of the criminal investigation. Either way, the theme of death is strong in this chart. In the incident itself, someone was almost killed, and Blueface's planet Mercury has a high focus on the ruler of death in this chart, Mars. The ascendant in this chart, the first house, is joined to the Greek lot, year of death, another suggestion of a life-changing event happening because of this situation. Greek lots show themes at play. The club owner Jupiter is joined to the Greek lot, death. Surely a big change has come for him as he experienced the death of his club, Euphoric.
Tarot addendum. Here are 2 additional questions asked with tarot. First additional question. Did Blueface mean to take a life? The Knight of Wands appears. This wasn't a thorough enough answer for me. I also pulled the Ace of Cups. Together, I see this as the cards showing him as a prideful, fiery young man who had a great emotional outburst. Last additional question. Will Blueface stay a long time in jail or prison? The 7 of Swords appears. From my research, this does not indicate a long stay. In traditional imagery, it shows a person gleefully stealing some swords, and he looks like he is getting away with it. Could this show him escaping harsh punishment?
There is one notable thing to consider. The North Node, a point showing good luck in assistance, is joined to the Greek lot, investigation. This could show, as the case is being investigated, perhaps some things go in Blueface's favor. Maybe some information is revealed that benefits him. Lastly, a very important consideration is that the authorities and Blueface are the same planet. Blueface will have some influence over the outcome. We can see this presently as he was able to get out on bail despite past criminal history. Another thing is Mercury retrograde and the negative indications it comes with will also affect authorities, not just Blueface. Well, that's my reading on Blueface, and I look forward to seeing how this plays out. This will be a great chart to learn from. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.